Hello, and welcome to the 152nd.
Hey.
What?
He's trying to throw you off, man.
Welcome to the 152nd episode of Cinema Effect. I'm Liam, and I'm joined by my fellow Overwatch 2 top 500 player,
Not
Jaden.
even close, but yeah.
No, I haven't.
Howdy.
And Zach doesn't really have any names. I mean, Star Wars, fucking...
Of course.
I was about to be explicit, but fuck. Star Wars fan. Okay. Zach?
Fucking Star Wars, Zach. That's it.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Fitzy, how are you?
Good. And an amazing return appearance, special guest, Dr. Jones himself, Luke.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
How you doing?
Why is he here?
I don't know. He's just,
Just rocked up.
he heard Jones, he heard Temple of Doom and just appeared,
Yeah.
I guess.
That's actually pretty much
look,
almost
it's Dave
exactly what happened.
Yeah.
I was summoned.
Wait, Dave doesn't have glasses, does he?
No, it doesn't. But he's got like the beard kind of thing.
Mm.
Yeah, the beard's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Clone
that's-
Wars,
yeah.
Rebels.
Did his glasses just vanish for you guys as well?
Yeah. Amazing. If you didn't know, this week we're doing Temple of Doom. God, I don't know when this was released. I didn't look it up because I'm hosting last minute. But it was released in 82,
84, I think.
84. Yeah, sure. And it's a Spielberg movie. It's a second Indiana Jones movie that we're doing. And it's a second in general. So, yeah. I'll start with Jaden. How do you feel about Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom?
Temple of Doom has always been my least favorite from my initial watch. But this time I actually quite enjoyed it. I was really surprised by that. I think it's a lot more fun than what Raiders was. I think it still suffers a lot of the same issues in terms of mystery being non-existent and like the actual adventure itself being kind of simple. Also, like the worst Orientalism you'll ever see in a movie. But like, I thought I was surprisingly engaged with it, and I think this time it just does come with the fact that I like that prior knowledge of Spielberg intended for them to be B movies just put on the big screen. I was like, okay, I definitely feel that much more, and I think that aided my viewing.
Good. Redemption arc, potentially. Zach, are you also going to be part of this redemption arc?
Maybe a little bit. I'm pretty close to Jaded. My expectations weren't high because I also always remember this being my least favorite. But yeah, on the rewatch, I actually prefer aspects of it to Raiders for sure. And yeah, totally agree with Jaded. Like once again, knowing that trivia from last time and what they're trying to make here, I think Steven and everyone at Lucasfilm and everyone involved knew what they were doing, and they did a solid job with it for sure. I thought, I had a decent time watching it for sure.
All right. Nicely said. All right, who we're all waiting for? Luke, go on. Let's go.
This movie, this is my favorite movie out of the trilogy, or out of the true trilogy, I like to call it. I just think it's just so wild. The whole movie is like literally the start of the movie. Anything goes, and anything does go. Like they start in Shanghai, and then they take a plane, fall out of the plane in an inflatable life raft, go down a mountain. They're suddenly in India, and now they're walking. It's like it's so wild, and I think that's like if you I think Jaden's right. If you view this from a perspective of like this is sort of a B movie. It's just wild and fun, like, and so if you can view it in that way, then it's an enjoyable ride, and that's sort of what I had that in mind. Because even though it is my favorite, I can objectively acknowledge that this is the awkward cousin in the other movies. Not only is the villain different, like he's not punching Nazis anymore, but there is a really different aesthetic to it. And so I had that in mind when I was watching it, but the movie still didn't let me down. I got the DVD player out from the other room. I plugged it into my TV. I put the DVD in, and it came up with the whole title screen, and all this nostalgia flooded back. It was a wonderful time. I really enjoyed rewatching this.
Great, amazing. Yeah, I greatly prefer this to Raiders. I think not just the awareness of you know, the whole B movie intentionality aspect, but also just like the content matching the goofy execution much more. You know, the extravagant set design, the the mystic like Indian religion subplot, which is like definitely problematic or whatever, but definitely also
Very.
yeah, but also just like suits the execution a lot more than I think the Nazis and Raiders does. So yeah, I think it's an incredibly fun movie, and I just forgot how like invented the plot is. Like he just like lands there. He doesn't like seek out the mystery.
Yeah.
And the whole thing happens in like a day or two, and it's just like really speedy, and yeah, and I like supporting characters as well. Are just awesome.
Would you consider this to be the Rise of Skywalker of Indiana Jones?
What kind of question is that?
In what possible way?
In the breakneck pace, it starts, that shit just happens. You know, it's kind of that awkward kind of, awkwardly perceived one. You know how you start with Kylo and then you kind of get this like rest of the journey that just keeps on happening from that point. You know, there's never like a seek. It's like a seeking out. Shit just happens like the way that.
Rise of Skywalker, they seek out too much. Like, isn't there like 50? They gotta seek out the key the whole time. I feel like this is more akin to like Return of the Jedi, and if you're gonna compare it to like Star Wars trilogies or whatever, because this is, as Luke said, the awkward one in the three. That's kind of the goofiness is extenuated in this one. I think. Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah, that's true. Speaking of when they arrived, like how do we feel about the scene where Harrison Ford, they arrive in India, and he says, "We're in India." How can you tell?
How can you tell?
And there's just a brown man standing there. It's like, hang on, is that problematic? I don't know. I feel like there's a few problematic elements going on here.
Like that whole start of the film is super. Like if you viewed it with a contemporary lens, it suffers so much from white savior. It's not funny. Like it literally, the villagers prayed for someone to come, and who was it? It was a white man. When Indiana Jones enters the village, they all, try to put their hands on him, and they're all saying, "Help us, help us." And then there's even like when he's translating, because the language is really strange in it, because sometimes they're speaking English, and then when they're speaking non-English, Indiana Jones is translating. And when he translates, he literally just like turns away from the people and starts like looking towards the camera. So it's like completely devaluing the voice of the people and prioritizing the voice of Indiana. So like it's very problematic in its execution. But then, that's a product of the times. You sort of have to, I don't know if that's a good excuse.
I mean, I don't know. It definitely is. This one is probably like, this one seems way worse out of the three. Yeah, like, even though Raiders was before it. But like the worst part about that for me was when like the Indian soldiers who were led by the British guy came to shot the other Indians. That just struck me as, very icky, like imperialist, like that kind of thing. But yeah.
What about the
Definitely
dining food scene? That didn't seem terribly culturally offensive.
That was the guiltiest one.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
That was the worst. I forgot how difficult that scene was to watch. And it sort of came up and I was like, oh, we're doing this. And it's like, okay.
All right, okay. The movie's bad. We get it. It's problematic.
It's problematic.
Let's move on to the great things.
But could you argue it's well executed problematic? Because I'm not going to lie, when all the little snakes came out of that snake, I was impressed. It's all done.
Sure.
But gross, real gross.
I wanna jump backwards in time to the opening scene, which is incredible. I love that. I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
What aspect of it? Like the actual like opening titles with the song and the woman?
Yeah, like the choreography, the actual song is juicy. The way it zooms in on her face and when she comes up to the camera like a musical. It's very nice. And then it just goes straight into the action scene in the Shanghai. Yeah, the Obi-Wan club, isn't it?
Yeah, the Obi-Wan club.
Yeah.
That is one of my favorite scenes in the movie, that opening scene. And like even not only the sort of music at the start, but then the whole negotiation with Lao Chen and the sort of, then when, they're running around the floor and he's trying to get the antidote and Willie's trying to get the diamond, and, they're kicking things one way and they're kicking things another, and then they jump out the window and then Short Round's there to rescue them. It's like, oh,
Oh
it's
yeah,
great.
that was a perfect example of like the antics that Marion kind of had in the first film translated to this character. Wait, what's her name
Willie.
again? I don't know.
Willie.
Willie. And if you needed any more proof that my Lego, my Lego game analogy was good, I reckon this one was the most Lego game out of all of them.
Yeah.
100%.
But yeah, I really love the Shanghai bit. It's very cool.
I do as well. Yeah, it's a really fun first scene. Oh, yeah, I like how when they start at the table. I mean, actually, first of all, Jane, anything goes. I just know that from Fallout. Is it? Are you the same? I was thinking you might think the same thing. Yeah, it's a good song.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, always in Fallout. Yeah, blast that shit. Yeah.
Oh yeah, man, absolutely. No, but yeah, it's a really fun scene. When they're all sitting around the table, especially, I really like when they're sort of one-upping each other with who's actually in control of the situation.
Yeah.
And that just progresses and progresses and builds even throughout the action. Like, starts off with this, the business transaction, they're threatening each other. Then when the antidote comes into play, it's like, whoa, okay. And then, dude, I really enjoyed when, as everything progresses and they go outside and they have the shit and everything, but when he slams the door shut on the plane, it's like, nah. One final little play there.
Yeah.
That was fun.
While we're sort of on the topic of Willie, what's your thoughts on her as the damsel in distress? Because I think Willie is one of the most annoying characters in film history.
I thought she was really funny. She was a great comedic character. They don't even try, like Zach said in Raiders, like they tried to introduce Marion at the start as kind of like, an independent woman, I guess.
Yeah.
And in this one, they don't even try to do that. They're just like, she's just like a funny plot device,
What about?
It's not good as well as as all the other stuff, but it's
that line on the plane when they wake up and they're going towards the mountain and he gets out the life raft and Willie screams. It's so poetic. It's like the best line in film history. She goes, "We're not sinking. We're crashing," and she screams it exactly like that, and then they jump out of the plane. It's like, oh god. Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah. No, I like Willie. Honestly, I'm honestly not annoyed by her. Like, she's objectively annoying for sure, but obviously that's the point, and I kind of find it a fun archetype. Like, yeah, she's the damsel blonde in distress for sure, but like, I feel like if you lean into it and like make it like she's so far that way that it's like not even, you can't even call it generic really. It's like, she just
it's definitely
can't do anything.
It's all purposefully done.
Yeah. I related to her as well because the bugs, I hate bugs,
Oh yeah, so
like, it was actually gross to me.
In that scene where they're like walking through all the bugs and they start crawling and they're like, if I was hanging out with Indiana Jones, like this is where I call it,
Yeah, end of the line.
Yeah. I'm not doing fucking spiders and centipedes and shit, man.
No, for sure. I will, while we're on it, for that bug chamber sequence, Kate Capshaw, who played Willie, was really covered with over 2,000, Jesus Christ, 2,000 insects. She took sedatives prior to the scene to get over her initial fear and claimed they definitely worked.
Oh my god.
That's
wasn't
revolting.
Didn't she marry Spielberg? Wasn't she like a former wife or something? Wow.
No, they're still married today.
Oh, they're still married. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess that's how we got away with it. Wow. Okay. Yeah, so she was good, and I thought Short Round as well was fucking epic. He was so funny.
Yeah. The chemistry between Indiana and Short Round was one of probably my favorite thing in the movie. And especially juxtaposing it with Willie. So like the scene when they're camping and they're playing poker with each other and they're sort of bartering, and then Willie is sort of running around screaming, but then they're contained in their own little game and they're sort of having this fun exchange where it's like you're cheating at poker and you've got an ace up your sleeve, and it's I love it. What do you think, Jaden? What's your thoughts on Short Round? Best sidekick of all time?
You're sending questions over to me. Oh, that's Liam's job today. You can't send questions over to me.
What do you think of Short Round?
Yeah, he was quite fun. I liked him. It's great to see him reprise the
Did you
same
relate to
character.
him? Oh,
Relate to him?
yeah.
How? Because I'm short, round. Yeah, very, very, very funny.
Round face, you know.
God damn.
Wow.
Sorry, I'm just abusing my host privilege. Did you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why
good
didn't you
job.
intro me as that at the start of the episode?
I should have. I actually regret that now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have any thoughts on his name, though?
Short round.
And what human being is named that?
Him.
Does he have an actual name? What's his
No.
actual name?
No, it's just short round.
Hmm.
It's probably like a direct English translation.
Right. Okay.
So, for
okay.
instance, because he said he found him in Hong Kong, right, and then took him to Shanghai.
Something like that.
I think he was sort of, when he was explaining the background, I think he said he found him trying to pick his pockets in the streets of Hong Kong, and then sort of took him around on adventures.
Hmm.
So, but regardless, if he's Chinese, then like short is Xiao, Xiao, and that's a pretty common first name. So his name probably translates literally from short round.
What about Indiana Jones in this movie? Do we still feel he was archetypal? I got.
Yes.
I think I got more Bond vibes from this. More like Sean Connery
especially
Bond
that
vibes.
opening scene, right, when he's wearing the yellow suit
Yeah.
and he sips the martini. It's like, yeah.
What? Yellow?
Oh,
What?
white. Sorry.
Oh, it's a white,
suit,
isn't it? Yeah.
I was going to say spooky. How
Very.
His TV settings, man.
Yeah.
Got no idea.
Super saturated everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Indy in this movie. I don't know, like Harrison Ford wasn't doing anything super different or anything, like I wouldn't say, but I guess in a way, like I kind of liked, maybe this is being a bit unfair, but like I kind of liked that they didn't even try to explore another side of him. Like in Raiders, it was the stuff like him being the professor was like so interesting to me, and I wanted to get more into that and understand more of that. And the fact they don't even tease us with that at all in this movie, like we're just, as we've been saying, he's just in on the adventure the whole time from the start. He's basically just adventurer. That's all he is. That's his character for the purpose of this movie entirely. And therefore it sort of just works for me. Like Harrison Ford knows that role so well. He's fun. He does all the, he does the thing. And for that, like I don't know, it's like it's got less issues, so therefore it just sort of works better throughout the narrative, I think.
I mean, there is that one scene.
At least for me.
There's the one scene when they're in India, and it's the dining scene. That he's in his Dr. Jones persona. Then he's got his circular glasses
sure,
on,
yeah,
and
yeah,
he's discussing the history of the temple and the palace and things like that. That was a very Dr. Jones professor type thing. But there was still that undertone of tension when he was like, "I'm sorry, I thought we were talking about folklore." Yeah.
Right. It felt more like a I don't know, like a cosmetic thing, or like, but he's in that persona based on the scenario he's in, not because it's like we're trying to explore this character right now.
Yeah.
Like it's just it's an aspect of the character, and it always will be. But like we're still on the adventure right now,
Yeah.
based on what happens literally that same night.
Yeah.
Mm.
Nocturnal
Very true.
activity. Did you like that scene?
Oh yeah,
I really like that scene.
when the Indian man comes out of the
Well,
painting.
sort of the whole thing. So, like before that as well, when they're in the room and he's giving her fruit, and then it looks like they're sort of the tension's there, but then they break apart and then they separate into their room, and it's like 5 minutes, 4.5 minutes, and they're sort of pacing back and forth, and then there's the sort of surprise. I appreciated that much more on this second rewatch, or not second, but sort of most recent rewatch.
Yeah.
I thought that I sort of was like, oh, that's actually I really enjoyed that sort of scene and the cutting between the two different perspectives and things like that.
Yeah, I like that scene. It's a good scene.
It was a good scene. She was super horny for him, though,
Yeah,
no doubt about it.
yeah,
And then he hung that guy.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
He-
I forget about that. Yeah.
And we're only scratching the surface of how dark this film gets, I reckon.
Yeah, there was actually a few things I noticed on this time, and I forgot to bring it up earlier. But when they're in Shanghai and he's trying to get the antidote, he literally punches a woman in the face. Did you notice that? There was a woman.
Absolutely.
There was
the
a waitress
the
holding
waiter,
a tray. He literally just turns around and smacks her in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He sure did.
And they're not afraid to hit children in this movie. It's like they whipped Short
Oh, no.
Round. He punched Short Round in the face. It's like, wow, okay, it's good to be
Yeah.
19.
Who punched Short Round in the face?
Indy did.
Did he?
Yep.
Where?
Oh, when he was
possessed.
When he turned into evil Indy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Well, let's not forget they also, they have a whole army of slave children that they whip to get the
100.
mines for gold,
Yeah.
the
100%.
stones.
Yeah.
That cannot be overlooked. Yeah, for sure. I mean, this movie, like, I always remember it being like extra scary and a bit like when I was younger, and I always remember it definitely having a different vibe in the supernatural stuff. And that's definitely true. Like, going back to it, that was definitely sort of defining characteristic in my mind, was how weird and dark it can be. Especially, but the stuff like I was more, when I was younger, noticed on the sort of weirder stuff like the voodoo doll shit and all the set decoration and the smoke and the red lighting and like how aesthetically that felt and how different that was. But on this rewatch, it was that, of course, still totally true, but it was noticing like how dark it is also thematically, exactly like with the child slavery stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, all right. And it helped with the stakes too, in my opinion, because it just felt more significant than Raiders. I don't know, like Raiders, like we talked about it at the time, I was sort of just like, I don't know, like he's going after the thing. All right. But then this time, like, we got to save these kids, man. This sucks, you know?
Well, the other thing is, the set design is awesome. The red hues and shit. But it just like jumps straight into the supernatural elements as well, like halfway through the film. Like the guy ripping the dude's heart out and the voodoo dolls and all that. Whereas like in Raiders, it kind of leaves it to the end with the arc being, its awesome powers. So the film like doubles down in kind of every way, I guess, on the mystical elements, on the adventure elements. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, Raiders at the end was sort of more of just like a tease, I guess. Or like at the end it was revealed, there is supernatural shit happening in this world, and here it is for 30 seconds, Whereas it really was a part of this movie all the way through and added a lot to its tone.
Right, yeah. Well, Raiders left us questioning whether or not Indiana Jones believes in the supernatural. And here it's like he definitely does. It's definitely part of this world.
Which is interesting because this comes before Raiders.
Which is the weirdest thing when I read that.
Does it? I did not know that.
It comes before.
This was 1935. I think Raiders is 36.
It's a prequel.
Is it really?
This is a prequel. That's amazing.
I never knew that. Oh wow.
When the years popped up at the start, I was
crazy.
like, I think that's. I was like, I think I need to take notice of this. And,
That's insane.
I didn't remember that. I wouldn't have noticed, but I read the trivia. George Lucas made the film a prequel as he did not want the Nazis to be the villains again, which is kind of, I don't know about that reasoning, but there's probably more to it than that. But I was flabbergasted when I read that. I had no clue.
Wow.
I think it can explain away like having a different woman there, because Raiders ends very resolutely with him and the other one together.
Marion. The other one.
Yeah.
Whereas this one takes a bit of a Bond route and you can have a new girl, every time.
That's true. But I think the Crusade does have another girl. But
yeah, it does.
It is true that like in terms of the Nazi thing, it continues like that story. So this does feel like detour in that way.
Yeah. I wrote down what happened to. I also didn't remember her name. I said lady. But Marion from the first one. But yeah, it makes sense now for sure.
Was this the first, like the minecart scene? Was that the first time like we had a minecart scene in film? Because I feel like it's been replicated a lot, and every time it's replicated, they say, "Oh, Temple of Doom minecart." Like, was this the first minecart chase-esque sort of thing?
I feel like this is the whale in Pinocchio issue, where like you can go further and further back and still find stuff, but
I reckon you can find similar stuff in relation to like trolley cars, like where they do like the pump gag and like the trolley cars like catch up with
like Buster Keaton kind of thing.
I reckon it goes further back to like stuff like that.
Andy would know something about that.
Yeah.
Comment below, Andy.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Oh, but
should I just add him to the call quick? Or?
Yeah. But No, that minecart, the minecart antics are pretty cool. Like that was the most actiony kind of scene.
Yeah.
I guess.
That was the best part of the Lego game.
This,
the
yeah,
minecart scene. Yeah,
it really
the minecart
was.
level. Yeah.
But I mean, action in this film, is it as much as Raiders? I guess there's less gunplay, but I guess there's just as much, like, kinetic scenes. I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Yeah, particularly in the third act for sure. Like, there's a lot of there's a sort of a string of long action scenes, and this was the least I was engaged with the movie. Like, it was they're well done for sure, and they're like, I guess I can value their entertainment qualities, but like, I don't know, like I was sort of just like, yeah, I get it. I know it's the same sort of Raiders thing where I'm just like, I feel like I've seen this all before. It's I wasn't personally, because I haven't got any nostalgia for it, so I was sort of just like, okay, yeah, this is cool. I was more invested. I was personally more invested when Indiana Jones turned into a psychopath for like 5 minutes. That's crazy. But yeah, so there's the string here. There's like bloody, what is there? First of all, there's like the quite long scene with fighting the guy on the, is it like a conveyor belt?
The crusher.
Would you say?
Yeah. The conveyor belt that crushes them. Yeah.
And he goes in the mine.
Right.
Which it's a similar sort of thing to the plane scene in the first movie, right? Where they're dancing around this obstacle while they're fighting.
Oh yeah. Yeah, true.
So there's a continuation in that sort of not cliche, but like it's like, what do you need for a checklist for an Indiana Jones movie? You need like two people fighting around a sort of physical obstacle in the environment that's going to kill them. That's one of the things.
I think that scene was made fun by the young prince who was like controlling the video, and then Short had to fight him. Yeah. And then they had the shot with like Short Round fighting him in the background and Indiana fighting the guy in the foreground.
Like, pummeling, yeah.
Yeah. And they were like synchronous. Yeah, that was really cool. The action scenes are really good for me until we like get to the bridge. The bridge isn't like that interesting for me. I don't know why. It's just I don't know. I feel like it's something I feel like I've seen like a lot of times, but maybe because it comes from this movie. I don't know.
Yeah. I totally agree. The bridge was, I don't know, it was kind of underwhelming finale to me.
Yeah,
it was fine. If the movie has sort of found a way to like, I don't know, when they climb up from the bridge and the whole, it goes for quite a while, and then when they climb up the cliff face at the end, it wasn't nearly as satisfying to me as like I was personally thought it was a lot cooler if you'd found a way to make it the final visual when like the water's rushing out and they're hanging on the edge and like the rocks are crumbling around them. I thought that was sort of a cooler, more climactic visual to me, at least. So, and then when it keeps going to the bridge, I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Interesting use of fluid dynamics in this movie.
Oh yeah, I hated that so much. They went into a sideways,
and the water didn't follow them.
And then the water didn't follow them. I was like, what the fuck? Oh, that was so good. That was so great.
Yeah.
Not very physics accurate. Oh, the boat is like probably the worst example
boat.
As well. Yeah. Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. You like the raft?
Yeah. The raft. Yeah, sorry.
Oh, that was ridiculous. Yeah. That was absurd. that was something else. And then when it kept happening, like they kept falling.
It fell off a cliff.
Yeah. Out of the plane was bad enough, and then they fell off another
cliff into a river. Yeah.
That's impressive, man.
Yeah, I mean, this movie just like keeps going. They just like,
it's wild. It's a wild movie. Yeah.
It is wild.
It is a ride. It's a wild ride.
I was gonna say, like, I feel like the soundtrack is kind of a bit opposite to Raiders in that, like I said last time, Raiders reutilizes the main theme in like interesting ways, and this film doesn't as much. It's more like background, John Williams music, which Jaden felt about the first one, but I definitely feel is more like stronger in this one. Like that aspect is more pronounced in this one. But yeah, I felt like the music was a bit weaker. I don't know. How did you guys feel?
Yeah, I agree with that. But I must admit, like the moments where the film just hits the theme in full stride, where I feel like that was Raiders. I feel like in Raiders maybe haven't once, but like I feel like it was less. Well, as we talked about with how the theme is used in different ways in Raiders, I feel like they were therefore less reliant on just friggin' blasting the whole thing. I don't know, you can say whether it's better or worse, but like unashamedly, like when they blast the full theme and we get a big long establishing shot, especially when the plane's taking off at the start and you just get the theme for like 30 seconds straight. I'm like, oh yeah, that's enjoyable for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, its use
Yeah.
of it is definitely different.
I actually agree with that. Somehow the main theme in this was more powerful. Like even like the ending was like really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked the score as well. I thought the score was really nice.
Do you?
I was sort of almost unconsciously listening to it, and then in the end, when they're in the temple, when they're in the mining area, and Indiana Jones is on the top, I sort of noticed that as he punched, the sort of trumpet in the score went like dun, and like it was almost like it synced really well with the actions of the movie, and I was like, oh, that's nice. That's a nice use of score.
Right. It did that thing. What was that called, Zach?
Mickey Mousing.
Mickey Mousing.
Mm.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, this definitely felt like more like the serials in that way.
Right, exactly.
I really like the villain. The villain's cool. I like the makeup in the film, but this guy's got a very terrifying face.
Yeah, he was kind of cool. I read in the trivia that the actor for him, he shaved his head for the role, and then after that, he became like a big staple sort of casting choice as a villain in Bollywood. After that,
Oh yeah,
Nice.
because people just liked his look so much. Good for him.
Yeah.
that's cool.
But so what were they actually doing there? I must admit, I think I just got lost in like all the weird shit happening. That I'm sort of like, so they have what is their operation? They've got child slaves. They got magical powers.
They're
They
trying to
worship
find
their
the
god.
last
They're
two
trying to find the
stones,
last
right?
2 stones. So there's 5 of those stones.
And
yeah.
they buried them.
Hmm.
So the child
they-
slaves are trying to dig up the last 2
Yeah.
stones.
Okay. But the other stones, like the stones that Indy's after for the village people, they're just the ones sitting right there in open space.
Yeah, so that village stone was one of the 5 stones originally.
Got it. So they're looking for the remaining stones, whereas Indy just wants one of the stones they already have.
Well, he wants them
Got
all because, like, you know, they're all very...
They belong
Yeah.
in a museum.
Does he get them all? What?
Well,
Which
most of them fall into the
They fall into the
river at the end, I guess.
crocodile infested or alligator infested river.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
He keeps one.
Okay.
Yeah, he brings that one back to the village, restores their land.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. You wouldn't be tempted just to, I gave you your children back and just mention, oh, sorry, I couldn't find the stone though.
Oh,
You know?
I mean,
Well, they talk
doesn't
about
Willie
it.
literally say that? He's like, why'd you
Yeah,
give him
Willie
back the
says-
stone? What happened to your fortune and glory?
and he said, "Oh, they just like go to some museum
yeah.
or whatever."
Oh, sorry, I do
Yeah.
remember that now. Yeah, I'd forgotten. Yeah, yeah. That's
Literally
hilarious.
answers your question.
Yeah. But hang on, but is Indy not heard of the black market? I guess he's ethically
Oh,
not leaning that way. I don't know.
It's kind of like how Nathan Drake is continually poor despite finding treasures and shit like that.
Exactly. That's definitely the cycle of the story that Uncharted takes from this for sure. Where like you have the adventure, but you never get anything in the end, including maintaining the girl. Apparently,
yeah.
Well,
Exactly.
that's
Doesn't
different
Marianne
from
come back for a later one?
Yeah, she comes back in
Kingdom of the Crystal
of
Skull.
the Crystal Skull.
Yeah.
Oh, that far. Okay.
I think she actually is the mother of Shia LaBeouf, maybe his son.
Yeah, I think so.
Spoilers.
I think I
Spoilers.
remember being his son.
Sorry.
Oh.
Yeah. Wait, did you say? Are we going to have this conversation again? Did you say Shia LaBeouf?
No,
Did Shia LaBeouf?
Shia LaBeouf. I said that.
Okay, I thought you.
Shia LaBeouf.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
Oh yeah. That was the other thing about this film, is that it does feel that much like a detour because you don't have the returning characters of the first one, like his professor friend who's in The Last Crusade, and I think there's another guy.
Oh,
I don't know, but Solo.
Yes. Oh, the dude who.
Solo,
yeah. He's like bad date.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy they meet when they're digging up
Yeah.
the raid for the Ark.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so I didn't realize Last Crusade really becomes like much more of a sequel to Raiders. I guess I didn't really know that.
Mm.
Yeah, it does seem that way, but we'll cross that
We'll see.
bridge when we get to
Yeah.
it.
Mm.
Exactly. Why is it these movies can't just do like one animal, one scary animal? Like why when they have alligators? I mean, it's the same thing with the bugs, but like when they have alligators, why does there need to be like 10?
Oh, why does it need to be a group of them?
Yeah, like they don't really understand. I don't know. They choose the abundance route, I guess. You can
Yeah.
only have one alligator when you can have 10.
Just
I
to
mean,
I
hide
have a
all
couple of bugs
the
when you can
Why
have
mannequins
5,000.
and things like that. Just so it
Oh,
doesn't look
okay.
super fake.
Interesting.
They just throw in more and more crocodiles. I mean, they were
guess.
clearly
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like doing alligator rolls over like cloth that had maybe food sprinkled into it. Like there was no like anything in there, so it's like maybe that's why they had a few to
Yeah.
sort of try and make it look a little bit better.
Right. No, that's a good point. Actually, yeah. That was like the most leisurely alligator roll I've ever seen.
There was I feel like it was the same shot like multiple times. I don't know.
Probably.
It did feel a bit clunky. Yeah, it did feel
Yeah.
like they did some reuses or whatever.
Yeah.
The alligators were shot in Florida, and the rest of it was shot in Sri Lanka. They were literally inserted like that. Yeah.
Did you? Sorry, speaking about inserted reverse shots and like repeating shots. Did you see how for the Mandalorian? I'm sorry to go off track, but like it just popped up to me again in the Mandalorian finale when Bo-Katan's leading them through like the hallways. They use the same 3 shots, but just they flip it and crop it in. But they use they use the same shot 3 times, but they just flip it and crop it in twice.
Really?
Yep.
Oh,
This is
I didn't notice.
This is a who knows how many $1 million budget production, reusing shots like that.
Damn, dude.
Uh,
God. Did you notice it, or was it like
No, I
something
saw it afterwards.
Okay. Yeah. That's
it was just so
hilarious.
bad that you didn't even. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess if you don't notice, I can't really say it's an issue, to be honest.
Yeah, it's not, I just can't believe that. I mean, I can't believe why cheap out, man?
Yeah, you can believe it, Jane. Let's be honest. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, it's a Lucasfilm. It's all related.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Was there more? What about the use of the whip in this movie? Was the whip utilized
Yeah, I was
more in
gonna
this
say
movie
that.
than in the first one?
So screwing.
No, I feel like he was
I mean,
like
it does
swinging
hang a
all the
guy.
time on the whip.
What was he? No,
Yeah, he did it in the temple.
he hangs a guy and he whips Willie. Like,
Yeah,
that's
and then
it.
he swings across to get the stones, and he swings across when he's in the mining area as well. He whips a sword out of someone's hand.
Oh,
To be fair, I have to watch the last 40 minutes 3 times because I fell asleep each time.
What?
So you're with me. You're with me. Or were you just really, really tired?
I was
or...
so tired, man. I was so
Okay,
fucking
okay.
tired.
Okay.
And like I wake up to the
That's
credits
hilarious.
rolling each time, and then I'd probably make it like 2 minutes, and I'd fall asleep, and I'll wake up again to the credits. Like, fuck, I have to go back.
Oh,
3 times. That's insane.
Wow.
That's,
Yeah,
that's like a recurring nightmare or something.
bro, I was
It really sounds like it. Oh my god.
because it was just as Indy had his like mind fucking
Oh yeah. Like
fucked.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a
I thought-
considerable amount of the movie left.
Yeah, so I slept for 40 minutes each time and woke up to credits.
Wow.
That was interesting. I thought he was playing them the whole time, but no.
Yeah,
then he punched short and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
he's actually evil now.
Nah, he was
Evil
getting back for the card game though.
yeah, back for cheating. Yeah.
Is it weird that Short Round thinks that Indiana Jones is his best friend? You know?
Well, I mean, not to get too dark, but I'm pretty sure they said that Short Round's parents died. So he's probably seeing Indiana as a father figure, which is sort of how they positioned the relationship in
Okay.
the film. So I wouldn't say best friend. Like he literally says, "I love you." So I feel like it's more
he
of
says
a
that.
like
okay,
paternal
okay.
sort of relationship
Right.
that they're going for.
So where does Short Round go after this then?
Yeah, like
This
I must
is a year
admit,
before Raiders, you know?
Yeah.
Unless he gets sent off to boarding school or some shit. Like,
I guess so. Maybe he dies on
Does he
he dies
die?
on the way to
Yeah.
Delhi. Who knows? Yeah.
yeah, but Indy's clearly not traumatized
Yeah.
at all by it, because in Raiders he's fine.
Mm,
Yeah.
it's really weird.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's true. Yeah, shit. That's actually upsetting. We need to like create some sort of Short Round fill-in story to like reconcile this, because you can't set up all this stuff with this character and make it deeply personal and then just be like, oh, but I don't know what happened to it.
True.
I don't know.
When they have comics, right? Indiana Jones has comics these days. I think.
Does
maybe
it?
he stays with Willie.
Maybe.
Mm.
Which
Yeah.
is damn weird.
Good.
But if she
theory.
goes back to Shanghai to her job.
No, she
maybe.
said she was going back to Missouri,
No, that's true.
and that's when Indiana Jones whips her.
Mm.
Yeah.
Short round. Does he just keep? He lives with Willie, but Willie becomes like his adopted mother, but when he's like 50, like picture Kihei Kwan now, like in his voice, like calling her lady, still calls her lady.
Yeah.
Like that. Come on, lady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that, Zach?
Yeah.
Say it again.
Ooh.
You're just getting the spirit of the 80s.
He's got a very, very unique, distinctive voice, you know?
Yeah.
Not a stereotype.
We're stereotyping him, not, you know.
Exactly. Thank you, Leah.
Hey, you get to decide whether you want to cut that one.
Yeah.
That'll be the interesting.
Oh, yeah.
That'll be the interesting
Yeah.
thing to see.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, 152 episodes is good, Zach. You know, we have to stop somewhere.
Oh, Zach's done worse on the show.
Yeah. Did you read this trivia, Zach? While filming the whipping scene, the crew played a practical joke on Harrison Ford. While he was chained to a large stone, Barbara Streisand appeared, dressed in a leather dominatrix outfit. She proceeded to whip him, saying, "That's for Hanover Street," which was a film in 1979, the worst movie I ever saw. She continued whipping him for Star Wars 1977 and making all that money. Carrie Fisher then threw herself in front of Ford to protect... Is this not real? This can't be real.
I've read it, and I was so confused by it, I just kept scrolling.
This entire sequence was filmed. What?
Barbra Streisand. Okay. That's interesting.
What on earth was that?
Anyway.
That can't be real. What did I just
Let's
read?
get to the final movie.
Let's get to the fun of it.
Oh, God.
I'm going to give this film an 8 out of 10. I think it's, you know, the ultimate double down adventure. It's pretty fun. I liked it a lot. I think it's pretty great. Yeah. What about you, Jaden?
I will put a 7 on this film. I think it's a step, not necessarily a step up, but it's I better understand where the film's coming from, I guess. But it still has its issues that the first one had as well.
Fair enough. Zach?
Yeah. I'll stick with a 6 just because watching it engagement-wise, that's probably where I was at. But it's a strong 6 though. I was maybe going to consider a 7 if that's worth saying. But the way you just worded that, Jane, is spot on. Where it's like, did I enjoy it more? Yeah, overall, like watching it, but like I definitely understand where it's coming from more, and I think it has stronger aspects that link to that more than Raiders. Yeah.
Okay, continuing to disappoint our audience. That's good. That's good. Luke?
Well, I'm here to, you know, I'm here to support, you know, our audience. 9 out of 10. This movie's a 9.
Big.
This is a fun movie. This movie encapsulates so much about Indiana Jones. The action is awesome. The music, I'm enjoying it. You know, sure, there's a few things that are problematic, but hey, what isn't these days, you know?
How many episodes have you
Clean
done
this
with people?
podcast.
Like, can you call the audience our audience? Like, can you say our audience?
My audience.
You've been on what, 3, 4?
3, the 50th of the
3.
150th of the episode.
Yeah. I mean, yep.
Parasite, Cocaine, and this now, right?
American Psycho.
Or was there another
American
one?
Psycho.
American Psycho.
American Psycho.
4.
Yeah.
4's not bad. Yeah.
God
okay.
damn.
Yeah.
You can take Alec.
The 9's for Paul. Let's be clear. The 9 out of 10 is for Paul.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Shout out to
I respect
Paul.
that. I respect that.
Fair enough.
Your dad.
Yeah. Hey.
Shout out to Paul.
Is this his favorite indie movie?
Yes. Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Well, I
That's
thought they had better
we
taste.
quote this movie quite a lot in this household.
Oh yeah, you said it in your review.
Yep.
Yeah. Sorry, I see people saying that all the time. They quote this all the time. What are you quoting?
Yeah, I agree.
I can't repeat it on the podcast.
Say it.
A lot of
wanna know
short
what these people are
rounds. A
quoting.
lot of short rounds quotes.
You say it without the accent.
You're a very big cheater at
That's the only
poker,
bad-
Dr. Jones. We say that quite a lot.
In the accent.
Yeah. No, well,
Duh.
no. Maybe. No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
For legal
Right.
reasons,
So,
no.
so you're quoting short round. Okay.
Quoting short round. Yeah.
Keep exposing yourself. Next section is news chat, aka trailer talk. I'll start off with the big one: Hunger Games, the Ballad of Songs and Snakes or some shit. Yeah.
I think it's songbirds and snakes.
Okay,
But yeah.
close enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, big trailer. I reckon it was pretty great. What do you guys think?
I saw it.
I have not
saw
seen
it
this
come
trailer.
up
Wait,
on
what? Who
YouTube. I
watched
didn't
it?
watch it. No.
Oh, Jane, what
Jane.
did you?
Sorry,
What
I
you think?
thought we had a well-rounded discussion.
Nah.
I fucking loved it. You know, I'm a massive Hunger Games sweat. It was the first like book series I probably like fell in love with, like, and it was like I was there like opening night for like Mockingjay Part 1 and 2, and I skipped school to see Catching Fire. Like, I fucking love Hunger Games, and I think this trailer was awesome. Like, it looks fucking great. It looks, Rachel Zegler looks great. The rest of the cast looks great. You know it's gonna be devastating because she doesn't survive, obviously, because she's from District 12, which just sucks. But
Spoilers.
I don't know. It just all looked great. Like the set design, the direction. It just all looks like it was coming straight out of 2015 from where Mockingjay left off, and just continue it. And it just looks. I think this is.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think this film looks like visually better than the original Hunger Games for sure.
Oh yeah, I think more specifically Mockingjay, because in that they play with the capital and they have some more fun set design stuff they can do.
Yeah, no, set design looks awesome in this film. I have a stupid question though. Did the bald guy, the guy who's like semi-bald with the blonde hair, is he the same guy as Snow?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, all right, cool.
So is this a
yeah,
prequel
I'm excited.
series?
Yeah, so
it's
it's
pretty
the
good movie,
10th
yeah.
Hunger Games that this is based on.
10th. So what was the main Hunger Game?
So 74th.
Oh, really?
Yep.
And it's every year, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and Catching Fire was 75th.
So how old is Snow? Like in this, is
would
he like
be
10 or
about-
something in this movie?
No, he'd probably be early 20s.
Yeah,
But
it's
then,
like
so
25.
60 years later, he'd be 80, 90 odd.
So is he actually 80 or 90 in Hunger Games?
I think the actor was a bit younger, but like that, this is what the timeline implies.
Oh, okay.
So it's actually about a Hunger Games.
Yeah, about the 10th one.
Cool. Okay. I thought, not knowing anything about it, I thought it was like more of a prequel, like political backstory for him. Like how he
Yeah.
got into power and shit. But there's actually a Hunger Games involved.
Yeah, but so he's going to be significant, and this is going. I think it's going to be more about him than the trailer leads on. Well, the trailer does have him very prominent, but I think it's going to be more about his powers than it is about the tributes and whatever.
Oh yeah,
Got it.
yeah. No, I think the trailer definitely points to the fact that it is his backstory, his origin story.
Yeah,
But it's not like completely focused on him in the way that shitty origin stories usually are. It like focuses on the world around it too. Like Peter Dinklage is there. He's the fucking creator of the games. He's pretty cool. The trailer.
Oh, cool.
I love how it goes. Like I love how things that are set in the future do this thing where like when they go for a prequel, they still like go for that 50s aesthetic. So like you got like these like kind of like old televisions and like the font is like kind of retro. Like imagine
Yeah.
for Finney. Like that's kind of what like the aesthetic is for, like a lot of the capital stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I guess me and Luke now. Jack, you're going to be left out of all of these, aren't you?
I haven't seen a single trailer this week. Yeah, go for it.
Fair enough. The Flash. I actually really enjoyed this trailer too. I think it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I liked it. I thought you get a much better, like the Batman like capes. It seems much more fluid. You get a much better idea of how Batman's going to be moving, which is a continuation from the last trailer. But yeah, I thought it was good. You get a little bit more. There was one shot that I thought was a little bit weird, which was when the two Flashes were running at the camera with like Supergirl in the middle, and then they stop. I sort of watched that and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that just something about that seemed a bit weird. I don't know if that's editing in the trailer, cutting things out, or
That looked
removing
very-
things. Yeah.
Yeah, that looked a bit awkward in a CGI sense. But I don't know. My main standout was Supergirl. She looked really cool. She kind of proved what Jane was saying about Supergirl kind of being this wild card. And obviously in the trailer they bring Zod back, and Supergirl kind of has her own motivations there. The Batmans in the trailer, they look kind of like fun cameos, but the main three is like, past Flash, future Flash, and Supergirl, which kind of just looks like a fun trio for a movie.
Well,
so,
I think
yeah, it looked
I
like
think Ben
decent.
Affleck is more of a cameo. I think Michael Keaton is supposed to play a much more
Oh,
integral
yeah.
role in the film.
Yeah, he had some, he was in some action scenes that were pretty big, so that looks like the case. And then when they showed Ben Affleck, the whole aesthetic was kind of different, so it kind of feels like he's a bit of a side piece, yeah.
Yeah.
We will go on to the fast round, the Jaden round for all these trailers. Quick fire, yeah, thank you, Luke. Transformers. Big one, what do you think?
Yeah, it was alright. It wasn't really too much more than... Actually, it was kind of significantly more than the first trailer. But I really didn't want to... It wasn't one that I wanted to watch because I want to kind of go in knowing little, but I'll watch it for the sake of the show in case Zach brought it up.
Thank you, but yeah.
It shows a bit more about the robot conflict. I don't know. Like it kind of goes back to what I said about the first time. Like Rise of the Beasts, like I know everyone's excited about it, but it's not really doing it for me because like I love the main Bayverse. So like, you know, I'm sure I'll watch it, I'll love it and all that shit. But you know, these trailers aren't entirely, you know, there for me.
Fair enough. That was a good quick fire round. How about Haunting of Venice?
This is a pretty sick trailer. I quite like the first Kenneth Branagh Poirot, the murder on the Orient Express. I think Death on the Nile is pretty arse.
Is that what this is?
Yeah, it's the third
Yeah, it's the third one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm sort of shocked that he got a third one, to be honest. But
Yeah,
I'm
same
all for
after
it.
Death on the Nile.
Yeah, I'm down.
But this was like a really tense trailer. I think it looks great. Michelle, is that right? She was. In the trailer.
Oh, really? Okay.
I think so. Is that right, Liam? I don't want to be.
I don't know. I haven't seen the trailer.
Let me just click.
Fact check.
Oh yeah, she comes up in the cast.
What is the cast list? Is it stacked again?
It's pretty stacked. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, we got Jamie Dornan there. Yeah, 50 Shades go.
Oh, okay.
Who else is there, Liam? Read them out.
Tina Fey. The rest is kind of Kelly Riley. She was in Yellowstone. Yeah, I don't know. The rest is
maybe not that stacked. Maybe I was
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, we've got is this Santino? The guy who played Santino. He comes back. You know, as I mentioned, Ricardo Scamasio. Like in John Wick 2, he played Santino.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Got it. Got it.
I'm sure there is going to be a real world explanation, but the trailer kind of makes it seem like there is like a paranormal aspect, which, as far as I'm aware, Agatha Christie didn't really write about. So this is going to be cool if it is like that. You know, I'm keen for it. Yeah.
All right, last one. Next goal wins.
This is the new Taika Waititi movie, Liam.
Oh, okay.
It's got Michael Fassbender starring as a football coach, taking over the American Samoa team after we battered them 31-0 or 30, well, fucking more than that, I think, like 32.
I read that it was 31-0 in the synopsis, and I'm just like, I need to see this movie right away. Like that's all I needed.
Australia used to have a soccer highlights show with like a panel of like, you know, like personalities, and they did a recap of this game. And it's like just it's peak Aussie TV kind of sketch. You should I recommend everyone go and watch that. But this is what I want from Taika. I don't want him doing Thor shit. I want him doing personal stories like this that are goofy. You know, I want the JoJo's and the World of People and the Boy and all that shit. The What We Do in the Shadows and stuff like that. You know, this seems like good Taika to me.
Good Taika is not Star Wars Taika.
Yeah, fuck, keep him away from Star Wars. I think my opinion is completely swayed on that. Yeah,
awesome. Next, we are going to talk about what we have been watching in the past week of this life here on Earth.
Fantastic segue.
Jaden. Actually, I won't go to Jaden because Jaden just talked for like 3 minutes. I'll go to Zach. What's your highlight of the week?
My highlight was watching Seven Kings Must Die, which is the sequel movie to the Last Kingdom series on Netflix, which I love. And this movie, I think, came out a couple of weeks ago. Known about it for a while, how it was going to sort of wrap up the story of the show. I didn't really know what it was going to be exactly because, the show had a really standalone solid ending anyway, but there is a plot thread that it leaves that I knew the movie was going to be about. But I sort of thought like the characters of the show like didn't need to be entirely involved in this plot thread. So I thought that's the reason it was going to be a movie. It was going to be like the characters are there, but they're sort of supporting, and then it's a sort of the separate story that ties into the larger story. So I thought, okay. But that's not what this turned out to be at all. I watched this 2-hour movie, and it's literally season 6 of the show in 2 hours. I like was not expecting that. I was sort of blown away by it. It's like all the main characters, everyone's there, they're doing the thing, and it definitely had vibes of like we needed to rush this shit to get it done in 2 hours. Like The Last Kingdom sort of already moved quite quickly pacing wise, but this was next level shit, dude. I'm talking about characters crossing the continent of England in the year 900 like 4 times like in a row, like between scene cuts. Like this is how fast this movie goes. So pacing wise, it's breakneck. It really is just trying to fit stuff in. But like, I was totally fine with it. I was totally down with it. Great, had a great time watching it. Really satisfying ending to the show. Classic Last Kingdom sort of style of storytelling with betrayal and political intrigue and all that sort of shit that they do. The strong characters again. So I don't know. Like, I saw some criticism that like, oh, this should have just been a season. This should have been season 6. And like, I definitely see that, but I don't know. I assume the reason it's not is that it's already incredibly rare for Netflix shows to get like The Last Kingdom has 5 seasons on Netflix. That's already incredibly rare for Netflix to give that many seasons.
They give
for a
fucking
show.
Big Mouth like 8 seasons.
Oh, that's a cartoon, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like, do you think that's right? Like their live action dramas, I feel like rarely go for like more than
Even like the
5
ones
seasons is up there.
Even like the profitable ones, they seem to be cut short because it just keeps on getting more expensive for them to make as it goes on.
Right, yeah, that shit annoys me. So I assume the reason is because they figured out this deal. They went to Netflix with the story they wanted to tell, but Netflix was only willing to do X amount of stuff. So they figured out this was the best compromise. If they do the movie and the X amount of seasons, they can tell the whole story how they want to tell it with whatever they were given. So I think that's probably what happened. And with that context, I'm really glad that it exists. I'm really glad the story is complete. And the ending was awesome. It was super emotional. Super satisfying. Everything you want out of like a show that runs that long to tell a fantastic ending, and it really. I was already thought the ending of the show was great, but they like somehow like managed to reintroduce me to the characters and have another incredible ending in 2 hours. So I was like, yeah, really well done for what the time they were given. Yeah, for sure.
Nice. I'll go to Luke next. Highlight of the month for Luke.
Highlight
As
of
you
the
watch
month?
those films.
I've
Week if you want. Did you watch something this week?
yeah,
Okay.
I've been watching Better Call Saul, mate.
Oh,
Let's
yes.
go. I am up to. I think I'm halfway through season 2. I'm really enjoying this series. I don't think I would have. I think I enjoy it because of the Breaking Bad. Having watched that before, I don't know if I went straight into watching Better Call Saul, I would enjoy it as much. Which I think is the point. I think
No.
you're meant to. Yeah,
I don't think anyone would.
yeah. So it's so much fun because and like watching it and then knowing like where the characters are going to end up, it just adds so much tension. Like it's not a spoiler. It doesn't spoil things for you. You don't go, oh well, I'm not invested in this because I know what happens in Breaking Bad. You're watching it and you're going, oh, that's different from Breaking Bad. What happens that sort of changes the characters from being here to being there, and so that's really interesting me, and so I'm enjoying the series so far.
Awesome.
Has everyone seen it, or Jaden, you haven't seen it, have you?
No, I haven't seen it either. I've only seen Breaking Bad, yeah.
Wait till you get to the start of season 3, man. I'll just say that. Yeah. Good.
But Spooky, you're speeding through this. I swear, you
Yeah.
You only started this like last
I
week.
started, yeah, pretty much. When it was the uni break.
This is way faster than you got through Breaking Bad.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
in fairness, I started watching Breaking Bad because I got COVID. And so I was like, well, I got, like a week, I might as well start. So I moved through season 1 of Breaking Bad pretty quickly, but then I stopped for like years, or like a year or a year and a half. So I'm moving through this quickly,
really?
but I think I'm gonna be consistent with it. Yeah.
You've got momentum.
I do have momentum. So yeah, you're right. I am actually moving through it pretty quickly. Yeah.
Okay, nice. That gives me hope,
Yeah.
If Luke can enjoy it this easily,
Yeah.
maybe it's actually good.
Yeah.
All right, Jaden, what about you?
I watched Skinner
Did Jaden
Wow.
just die?
Skinamarink. I can't imagine. I can't believe I struggled so much saying that. Skinamarink. Yeah, there you go. Skinamarink.
Oh, no,
Skinamarink.
that sounds like an alternate universe of cinema effect. Like, what the?
I thought you watched this, Liam. Did I swear I saw you had a rating on this.
No, I
No,
haven't seen it.
was it on your watch list at some point?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because I swear I used to see your name next to it when I would click on it. This is a independent horror film released last year or some shit like that. Super slow, super brooding. It is primarily still images, and it's a COVID film, and it acknowledges that as well. But what it is that two kids wake up in the middle of the night and they see their parents are kind of missing, and they realize that all the doors and windows to their house are gone. But like each shot is a static shot of just a place in the house, and quite often without a figure either. It is just the corner of a room, a look at the ceiling, down a hallway or something like that. And it is very dark. It is very hard to see. But that is kind of where the horror lies. And it is a scary movie. Like, this film genuinely scared. It made me scared to look at the corner of my room that night. Because just like in the darkness of the images, shit swirls there, and you swear something moves, something disappears, something happens. And in that aspect, it is really scary. But then it's undercut by the fact that probably 3 times throughout the film, it builds to like a very big piece. Well, I mean, very, very, very big in regards to the movie, of where like there will be like a bit of dialogue, and there will be a figure there, and it feels like it's getting scarier and scarier. But then it just cancels it out by having this fucking loud ass like just fucking noise play and a frame flash up, and it just makes a mockery of itself, because it's like the film would have been so much better off without it. Like, it would have been a lot slower, and it wouldn't have got the traction on social media. This film got very popular last year because when it debuted on at a film festival, it wasn't coded correctly, so people were able to just save it straight away instead of just like, because it was an online film festival. So people were able to save the video, so it got spread on TikTok like wildfire. But like, so had it not had those jump scares, it wouldn't have done as well on social media. But for those reasons, it's worse off as a film, because it just makes everything that it actually does fucking irrelevant. But like it if you remove those 3 high pitched noises that occur, it's a very strong film.
Okay,
Those
cool.
3 high pitched noises. God damn.
Yeah.
Sounds like an easy edit to make it.
Sorry?
Exactly. That's how. Like, how could it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Such
The thing,
a
like,
easy thing.
it is entirely a mood piece as well, because I couldn't recommend this to anyone. Maybe you, Liam, just barely though, because it is just static images of a dark house with the film grain on them. So like, yeah.
Great. I mean, I just copied Zach and watched Navalny and The Whale. Like, I'll tell you about.
Oh yeah, it's literally in the same order too. I'm
Yeah,
like, what is this?
I know. I guess I get Navalny. It was really great. It's definitely one of the best like documentaries I've seen that isn't like aestheticized in any way. Just like the content is like probably some of the most interesting stuff like that was in the documentary.
Right.
And I also had no idea like where the story would go. So it was, it was like watching a movie, but then I was kind of reminded as the film went on that it's not, an uplifting American film. So yeah, it's really, really fascinating, really funny. It's not just like a recap. It actually gives insight into like the whole process, and like goes directly to Navalny and the team and themselves doing, their investigation on like who poisoned him. So yeah, I really freaking recommend it. It's really awesome. I mean, not uplifting, but still awesome.
No.
So
Did you Google him after, like where he's at now?
I saw him on the news, like that is
Oh,
but I don't think I did. No.
okay. Yeah, that stuff wasn't didn't help. I'll say that it's not going well,
Yeah, no, it's not.
which is terrible.
Is this the one about the Putin's opposition leader?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Do you know anything about? Is that like a Do people have common knowledge of this? You know.
I listened to the
That's what I'm curious
podcast yesterday, so I heard Zach talking about it.
Okay, that's how you know. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But that's what I was saying last week, Fitz. Like, after seeing it, I sort of can't believe that. I sort of feel like people have to know about this, right? Like,
Yeah,
I
because
can't believe I
it's
didn't.
like so.
It's crazy.
It's so extraordinary in real life, and like, yeah.
Exactly.
Did you like The Whale?
Yeah, the whale was good. The whale was good.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's
I
not
enjoyed
still
it.
in the cinemas,
you
is
did?
it? No, it's
Maybe
not.
in Melbourne. I don't know.
Okay. Because I watched that in the cinemas by myself. I think there were maybe 3 other people in the cinema, and it was just like me and the screen. You know, it was nice.
Oh,
And
yeah.
the 3 other people.
And 3 other people,
Right.
yeah. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed that. I thought it was a good movie.
I like your review too. It's a very nice review. I agree with it.
Beautiful movie. Yeah.
That's all I said.
Yeah.
I stand by it.
Now we move on to our question of the week, where we ask the viewers what they think and all that. Our question of the week, where we hand the show over to you viewers, was what is your favorite iconic weapon that is not a lightsaber? So I mean, Luke's here.
I'm here. Surprise.
Yeah. We can't really read his answer, can we?
You said the Mark 50. Oh no, that was your response. Fuck me. Your response.
Do you want me to read my answer?
Yeah, sure. If you want.
Okay. So this is what I wrote. And, this is in the Discord as well, so, join the Discord. Some of my favorite iconic weapons are the turtle shells in Mario Kart, the Master Sword from The Legend of Zelda. I actually have a replica in my room of it. Captain America's shield is also satisfying when utilized in a good way. And so my example for that was, I think in the film Winter Soldier, I think this sort of, the way the shield bounces off things and the combat involved with the shield, I thought was really nice. But then I think my current favorite weapon is John Wick himself. In particular, his use of guns. Every time he fires a weapon in those movies, it had impact. Best use of firearms to date.
Sounds like you're reading a script there, Spooky.
Thank you, Jaden.
Yeah, I read that. So Luke said that, and then Andy said, my favorite iconic weapon is Donnie Yen's wet cloth in Once Upon a Time in China 2, possibly my favorite martial arts film of all time, and a movie I have mentioned on the show before. His wet cloth whips even quicker than Indiana Jones' pathetic little whip, so I'm technically siding with Zach on this one all of a sudden. Besides the significant wet cloth, the final fight between Jet Li and Donnie Yen itself is unbelievable. Probably one of the greatest moments to ever be shot for Hong Kong Kung Fu cinema, in my humble opinion. There you go.
You
Martial.
inserted this GIF because I would have been like, "What the hell? A wet cloth? What the friggin' hell does that mean?" And then you
Yeah.
inserted this GIF, and I'm like, "Oh, I get it now." Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a nunchuck sort of thing going
GIF
on.
looks pretty cool. That makes me interested in the movie.
Yeah,
Then Aiden said the Mark 85 from the Iron Man, Iron Man suit. Pretty decent weapon.
Which one's the Mark 85, Spooky?
I think that's the one from Endgame.
And then the nanotech thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Oh, okay.
specifically the one from Endgame. There is a change in suit between Infinity War and Endgame. So it's the Endgame suit.
Yeah.
I will go to Zach then. What's your most iconic weapon? Favorite iconic weapon? Doesn't
yeah.
like
I'm
it.
glad. I haven't done this, but I'm glad that Luke brought in video games. That was a nice play.
Oh.
Yeah.
I went with wands from Harry Potter. I think they're sick.
Oh, damn.
I think they're dope as hell. I don't know, something about, I mean, don't want to go on a Harry Potter rant like we did a few weeks ago, but like something about from Order of the Phoenix onwards, how those films, all the David Yates films, how he directs and how everyone on that production, like, I don't know, just how they shoot and how they bring to life the concept of wand combat. It's such a weird concept if you think about it. It's like, you couldn't even, like, before that film, it seems so obvious now, having seen all the movies, but like before that, it's something, well, what does that look like? Like, how do we actually execute that? Like, there's just descriptions in the books, but like, how do we make it look fast paced and frantic and, like, it sort of make it have a mystical element, but sort of like they're firing guns at the same time. Like, how do you even bring that to life? How do you visualize that? And they just nailed it. And it's part of that is why it's so cool to watch. And then, of course, just conceptually, like, friggin' wands firing shit in there. I don't know. Let's make them so cool. Yeah. I love it. My favorite wand is probably Voldemort's
bone looking thing.
His bone looking wand. Yeah. That's a dope one. I've got it in my cupboard somewhere. I've got it, but yeah, the way it has sort of like a handle thing, it's great. I love it.
Do you
It's the older one any day.
when you look at Voldemort and Harry's one side by side? Do you think they mirror each other well? Because like
Are they
they're meant to
meant
be they're meant to be the brother ones, right? And like so when I look at them,
yeah.
I'm like, so I guess there is kind of that like little kick in the end. I'm like, maybe.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know. Yeah, but I don't know. Is that like, could you make that argument for any two wands? But like, oh yeah, I sort of see it. I don't know.
Well, I think I have Chose behind me, and Chose is like super fucking like linear, and like.
Oh, okay. Why do you have Chose one? That's kind of random.
I was at the fucking antique markets, and like they had a bunch of them, and I was like, fuck, I'll get Chose, you know. I was like,
Sure, show some support.
yeah.
Nice, that's a good answer. What about you, Jaden?
Well, I've got a kind of half-hearted answer because now that Spooky's brought in video games to the play, I'm like, oh, you know, I wouldn't mind saying a video game now, but like, I'm like, I don't really know. I'll give a shout out to the BioShock wrench, but you know, my
It's a good one.
my answer prior to that was Sting from Lord of the Rings.
Fuck's sake, Jaden. I had one answer.
Sorry. I mean, I guess I'll stick with the BioShock wrench. I think that's a really great utilized tool in the game and weapon. Yeah, the BioShock wrench is awesome. Yeah.
Look, I didn't even search anything for this. I racked my brain, and I came up with Sting from Lord of the Rings because somehow they made the concept of sword but blue cool, and like in The Hobbit, it's like it's like the coolest thing somehow. So yeah, my answer is Sting. God damn it.
That's like the most like animated we've been on the show. Yeah.
I know.
I can't believe that.
Have we ever acknowledged like verbally the internal competition that this is every week of like trying not to come up with a good
Step on
answer
each
that
other's
doesn't trample on other people's
Yeah.
answers? Yeah. That's totally a factor though, as has been evident.
Oh no, I think we're done. Okay. So that question for next week is, what is your favorite individual costume design? You know, by like one character wearing a single costume. So yeah, what is that? Write into the show in the YouTube comments below. We know you're there. Freaking Jones listeners, you know, bagging on us.
Yeah.
And we're asking that because next week we're doing The Outfit, which is a 2022 film which is on Netflix. It has that Mark Rylance guy. So yeah, get around it.
The BFG himself.
Was he the BFG?
Yeah, I think so.
That's an unfortunate stand in his career.
Yeah, incredible actor and the BFG. Damn.
All right. Goodbye. Thank you. What is the Truman? What does he say? Harry Truman? Not Harry Truman.
Where can we watch The Outfit? Did we say that?
Netflix. I said
You did
that.
say? Okay. Yeah.
Oh, good afternoon. This has been Cinema Effect. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.